Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Let's do an update on what's happening right now. By the way, I sent out a couple of emails already this morning to MMT Trader subscribers. Again, if you want those emails and if you are not on the distribution list, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. It's right there on the homepage. It says get the 30-day free trial. You can also get the 30-day free trial of Zombie Trading. Zombie Trading, of course, is my Forex signal service. And the way we do that is we front run the zombies. We know how they're going to behave. So we front run the zombies and we take their money and we get out before they die. I also have my video courses on there. There is the Forex trading course. It is a 5 videotapes, 5 videos that you can download, 5 hours each. That was a course that I gave online, which is recorded, that teaches you everything you need to know to start trading Forex, which I have said in the past, everyone should have a Forex trading account. Even if you just use it very sporadically, it is very important to be able to have that diversification, to move your money around or to take advantage of opportunities in foreign currencies. The Forex market is the largest market in the world, the most liquid market in the world. Everyone should have a Forex account. You can open one up with $1. Doesn't make a difference. So I have that course. I have the Understanding the Daily Treasury Statement course. Many of you need to get that course. It's only $99. Because when I say things like the government has paid back 95 trillion in the last year, I mean, you never hear that stuff. Nobody's going to tell you that, but that is on the books of the Treasury. That is, you can see that in the Treasury, the daily statement every single day. That's like looking at the checkbook of the United States government. It's the same like your checkbook. It has all the withdrawals and all the deposits, and it's broken down on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis. Everything is on there. So I'm not making that number up, 95 trillion. So when they're talking about Social Security, going into deficit by 4 trillion, 30 years from now, it's a joke. They paid back 95 trillion last year in public debt securities, redeemed. Redeemed means paid back, okay? People got their money back. All right. So you have that course. You have the MMT Value Stock Selection course. That uses value stock selection, value stock criteria like Warren Buffett, combined with an understanding of MMT. A lot of you need that as well. I see you buying into companies that are losing money just because their price is low. I don't buy companies that are losing money, all right? So you have all three. You can get all 3 of those courses in the special offer combined combo, the 3 course bundle for $295. All right, everything's on there. pitbulleconomics.com. All right, let's talk about the market. The one thing I want to talk about on this video, I got an interesting email from Schwab yesterday. I have an equities, a stock account with Schwab. And they sent an email, what does the Fed balance sheet unwinding mean? Okay, now this was a very eye-opening email because it is a snapshot into the so-called institutional mentality, the mainstream financial sector, that means Wall Street's mentality or understanding of what balance sheet reduction means. So they wrote a big thing, and I sent it out in my email, the link. You can read the entire piece that I received. But I took out a little snippet, an excerpt, where the author says, regardless of the size right now, which of course it's small, it's $10 billion a month, it constitutes a tightening, a monetary tightening. And here's what she says, the author's a woman. She says, because it will reduce the level of reserves in the banking system, and that will reduce the capacity of banks to lend. So this statement alone is false, and there's also a lot in there that's flawed, even in what she left out. First of all, this notion that banks lend reserves, that is totally false. I mean, they can lend excess reserves overnight, but the lending of reserves does not create new money or credit. It is merely shuffling around the reserves in the banking system. If there's let's say 100 billion of excess reserves, and Bank A with the 100 billion lends it to Bank B, or even lends it to a customer, okay, which it wouldn't do, but because it would make much higher yield on a traditional loan. But let's say it lends it to a customer, it just transfers the reserves. Basically, if the customer is its own customer, the reserves go nowhere. All right. If it's lends it to some other customer at another bank, then the Fed just debits the lending bank's reserve account, and it credits the receiving bank's reserve account, and then that bank would credit the customer. There is no net creation of new credit or new money. Okay, so even if the banks wanted to lend that out, it does nothing. So that's a false understanding right there. Second of all, what this person leaves out is the other side of the equation. That is, while reserves go down, there is an offsetting increase in the assets that are higher yielding assets. In other words, the Fed is no longer buying the treasuries and the mortgage-backed securities. She completely leaves that out. And those are higher yielding income generating assets that are a net addition to the economy. Finally, back on that reserve question, when she says it reduces the capacity to lend, that's totally wrong, and misunderstands that loans create deposits. Loans create reserves, all right? Not the other way around. When a bank makes a loan, first of all, if you go into a bank and you ask for a loan and you're sitting with the loan officer and he deems you creditworthy, in other words, I'm going to give Mike a loan. He doesn't call his reserve desk and say, do we have enough reserves to? No, he makes the loan. And even if the bank does not have a sufficient amount of reserves to cover, right? They need 10%. It gets an overdraft in its account at the Fed, just like you would get an overdraft, and the Fed automatically covers the overdraft, so it supplies the reserves. Okay? So the very act of making a loan creates the reserves in the banking system, not the other way around. It's not the reserves and then they're lent out. They can't lend it out. Even if they want to, they don't go anywhere. It all stays in the banking system. There's no net creation of anything. But when the bank makes a loan, then there is the net creation of reserves. So they have it completely backwards. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because this is a snapshot of the mainstream financial sector understanding of balance sheet reduction. So they believe it is a tightening when in fact it is the opposite. It is the net addition of income generating assets to the economy. All right. So what will happen is, because they are sort of painting this as a tightening, ultimately institutions who follow the recommendations of firms like Schwab or Goldman Sachs or Merrill Lynch, they all have this understanding, this wrong understanding. They will start to reduce their equity holdings. I'm telling you, this is what is going to happen, because they see this as a tightening, all right? This will at some point create a wonderful, much better opportunity to buy into the stock market, because a lot of stocks now are overvalued. The whole entire market is overvalued. Secondly, it is a net increase in inflation, all right, or it will lead to that because it is an increase in income being put into the economy without necessarily an offsetting increase in output, right? So that will happen. So this is like a stealth bull market in inflation right now. Nobody recognizes it, and nobody will recognize it for a long, long time. And then when they finally see prices accelerating, they still won't really understand why that is happening. The same thing like the inflationistas never understood why inflation went down when the Fed was doing QE and 0% interest rates and all that stuff. They never understood. And they never understood why the dollar went up. And at the very end, they tried to rationalize it as higher interest rates. But then when the Fed did raise interest rates, what happened? The dollar went down. So they were wrong on that too. So there's a lot of money to be made here if you understand what is happening, if you understand the mechanics and the effect of what is happening, and if you understand the psychology right now of what is happening. I talk about all that. So if you want that email, if you want to find out more, and if you really want to learn, get MMT Trader. Go to my website, Pitbull Economics, and sign up for a 30-day free trial. See you later. Bye-bye.